All right. So, welcome to the Capturing Comfort workshop. My name is Ashanti Fortson. I'm a cartoonist, I'm an illustrator, I'm an educator as well. I have done a number of small format comics works for various publishers, including the fantasy issue of B Magazine, which I will open in just a moment here. I have a upcoming debut graphic novel from HarperCollins in 2023, Crescent Petra. I've been in a number of anthologies and whatnot. Thank you to The Believer for putting on this workshop. I'm very excited to be here with you all and to talk about what comfort can mean in comics. So I'll start out by sharing a bit of my visual work here from B Magazine. Show it right up to the camera. So this is a comic about Instagram and the relationships that can form in communities such as disability communities through online platforms. Just a little bit of a snippet of it. One of the reasons that I made that comic, and one of the reasons that I'm here with you now, is to talk about how we can use comfort in these times, not only the need for comfort for ourselves to kind of stay on top of our mental health and take care of ourselves, but also how to take care of other people, how to take care of our communities, how to take care of our good friends, such as Miss Tax Evasion the Rat, who is here with us right now. But you know, as an artist, I spent a lot of time thinking about the ways that we can influence things for the better, our world, and our. Rude, Miss Tax Evasion. She dropped a banana chip. So, you know, some of us are fighters on the front lines. Some of us are organizers. Some of us are healers. And I think as an artist, with comics specifically, there's a great opportunity to depict and portray and communicate comfort, which I think is much needed in these times, you know, not only with current events, but looking at the way that many communities are being marginalized right now. You know, how can we support each other and comfort each other, and heal each other as well. So with that in mind, this workshop's gonna take an angle of specificity. So I'll bring this up a couple of times, but you know, how can you portray in your work, in your comics, in your drawings, in your life, comfort that is specific to you? So your life, your communities, your home, your geography, where are you from, where do you live? Kind of using those details to inform the way that you approach this workshop. But more than that, it's not about a finished product. It's about the process of drawing. It's about the process of thinking through these bits of imagery, thinking through these concepts and these things that can make our lives better. So I'm just gonna let Tax Evasion here go back home. Thank you all for your patience with my little rat. Okay, so we're gonna start out, if everyone has their materials ready with their paper and their drawing implement, we're gonna start out with a panel layout structure. So it's pretty simple. We're gonna have 5 panels total. And I'm going to walk you through how to kind of divide your page into that format. I'm using a standard sort of 8.5 by 11 letter piece of paper. And I'm going to think about this page in terms of thirds, really. I want this top third of the page to be empty right now. And then the bottom 2/3, I'm gonna draw a kind of square rectangle around, leaving a little bit of space at the bottom. So I'm gonna start at the bottom in order to make sure that I'm leaving enough space. About an inch and a half, inch or two from the top, I'm sorry, from the bottom rather, I'm going to draw a horizontal line all the way to the end, like that. So there's a little bit of space, as you can see right there. I'm going to draw vertical line up here, up to about a third, something like that. I'm going to draw a similar line up to the same distance, and then connect them with the middle line. Now, there are a couple more lines we're going to draw here to break up this shape. About halfway or a third up of this line here, let's say a third, I'm going to draw another horizontal line across, and then I'm going to divide this top rectangle into 3. So just into thirds. Right around here, I'll draw the 2 lines. So it's okay if they're wonky. It's okay if the panels aren't perfect. They do not have to be. They just have to contain the drawings that we're going to put in them. So I'll give you all a moment to draw your layout, and then we're going to break down the first panel. I find that the way we're approaching this first panel, just kind of leaving it open without a box, and letting the drawing live within that open space, does a really nice job of keeping things atmospheric and keeping them sort of expansive without needing to box things in and keep things restricted too much. So with this top panel here, we're going to draw an establishing shot. So don't freak out, no backgrounds. We're not going to draw environments necessarily. I want to approach this personally with an atmospheric angle. So something small, something personal to really bring the viewer into the moment, into the comic snippet that I'm showing them, the little vignette. So for example, this could be a close-up of the edge of a book, or a little plant, or in my case, I'm going to draw the edge of a mug with some steam coming out of it. So take a moment and take a few minutes and draw however you want to position it. Doesn't have to be the full object or the full image. An introductory atmospheric element, something to bring us in. So I'm going to use the steam here to kind of bring us in from the corner of the page. And then I'm going to include the brim of the mug. And let's say the handle's on this side too. So a little ear for the handle. And as I said before, it's not about the product, it's about the process. So don't worry about wonky lines, crooked anything. It's totally okay if it's simple. If you draw, just a quick couple lines, that's totally okay. I'm not going to fuss too much about this drawing. I just want to communicate that it's a mug and it's hot, because there's a hot, comforting drink inside of it. But I'm also going to add a couple of little details to the surface of the mug, because I want my mug to feel a little bit more personal to me. So I'm going to just draw a little pattern on it, because I like that sort of thing, and because drawing patterns brings comfort to me in my process. This is going to be a little simple, playful pattern. If there's a pattern or a set of imagery or a set of details that you enjoy, that is, present in one of your household objects, that's present in your sort of geography, your cultural background, absolutely feel free to bring that in. It can be a great way to connect with the drawing you're making, and to have it be a little bit more specific, a little bit more unique to you and your experience. So I'll give you another moment or two to finish that up, and then we'll move on to the next panel. see if I can position this a little bit better here. I've got some boxes stacked behind my drawing board, so trying not to let it tilt too far back. All right, so take a moment and finish that first drawing up. For the second panel on the left, so I'm not sure if this might be reversed on the workshop stream, but the leftmost panel will be the second panel, and that should be something in your home that brings you comfort or makes you happy. So that could be you know, a lamp with a fun shape that you have, or perhaps it's a little ornament on a table, or perhaps it's some fruit that you have lying around right now. It can be anything in your home. I'm going to take a little gander at the window that is beyond my screen and draw one of the potted plants that I have on the windowsill. Feel free with these panels again to not necessarily show the full thing. If you want to crop it so that you're only showing details that really matter to you, that you find appealing or special, absolutely feel free to make that decision. It can just be, you know, the top of the mug here. It don't have to show the full mug. Or with the plants, I'm going to focus on the leaves. So I'm not going to focus too much on the pot itself. And I'm going to kind of start the pot down at the bottom and let it kind of be cropped away. And I'm not worried again about this drawing being perfect. It's not going to be, and that's part of what makes it, you know, comforting and enjoyable and mine. I'm just interested in making a couple of these fun shapes and fun lines to create a little bit of texture, create a little bit of a dynamic feeling in the panel. Just kind of let it be full of movement in my case, because I have a lot of leaves that I want to show off here. But I'm also going to add in a little bit of this squiggle that the leaves have on them. And I'll actually fill it in with some more kind of black line work. It's a pothos, which I don't know what variety it is, but it's got these beautiful little markings on it. And you know, if there are any, again, specific details that you find in your household object, household item, feel free to highlight those to make those feel a little bit more prominent. That's a nice way to again, make it feel yours. Maybe I'll put a little bit of a brim here as well on the pot, a little bit of shading at the bottom. So we'll go with this panel for another minute or two before moving on to the next one. I would say also, as you're drawing, try to think about what makes this object special to you. You know, what about it makes you happy? I think for all of the panels that we'll be drawing, it's a good way to hone in on what about them is comforting. Is think about, you know, your experience with those objects, with those items, with those future elements that we'll be drawing in a little bit. All right, let's take another 20 seconds and wrap up this panel here. Put on any finishing touches that you may have wanted to leave till the end. All right, so wrap up panel 2 there, and let's move on to panel 3. So for the middle panel, panel 3, draw something that you've made that brings you comfort, satisfaction, contentment. So that could be all sorts of things. For me, I'm going to pick one of my knitting projects because I really enjoy knitting, but that could be food, that could be, you know, any sort of craft. If you do woodworking, if you do carpentry, you could draw something like that. You could draw a drawing if you wanted to do that. Embroidery, sewing, anything like that. So this one's a pretty open to interpretation prompt, and I encourage you to do whatever you want to do, you know, according to something you've made. So I'm going to start out with a little bit of my knitting, thinking about what I want to show exactly. I'm going to show a couple of my hats that I've made. So I'm going to start out with the brim there, and then do a little bit of the knitting texture. I think homemade or handmade objects are a great opportunity to kind of show off the little quirks, again, those little specific details that make them yours. So here I'm drawing some of the pattern elements that are in these knitted objects. Just keeping it loose. Let's do some socks next. I like to knit socks. And as you can see and hear, kind of just getting into the act of drawing. So it can be fun, it can be meditative to just kind of let yourself go and have fun with it. I find that with knitted or embroidered or crocheted projects, drawing those in particular can be really fun because they have so much texture in them, in the stitches and the different types of patterns, that those are some of my favorite things to draw, honestly. Even just with ordinary characters or people's outfits, a lot of people wear knits, so I always find that it's a treat when I get to draw knitted items. It just gets to be a little bit of a contemplative, meditative act. So this has turned out to be quite an enormous hat that I drew at first, but that's okay. That is okay. Or maybe the hood is just really small. All right, let's take another about half a minute and wrap this panel up. All right. So for the last vertical rectangular panel here in the row of three, we're going to draw a living thing that brings you comfort. So this can be any sort of living thing. Um, Pets are a great option. If you have a pet, go ahead and draw that pet. Um, if there's a certain animal that you really enjoy that brings you comfort or happiness or joy, go ahead and draw that animal. I'm going to draw my rats. So not just tax evasion from earlier, but both of my rats hanging out in my sleeve because that's something that makes me very happy. And the nice thing about um, drawing an image of my sleeve is that I can just sort of look at my own hand as reference while I'm drawing. So that is nice and handy. And uh, you don't have to draw from no reference if you want. If you have the animal nearby, you can, take some looks at that animal to see how the face is constructed, or if you have another living thing that you're drawing. Um, there's never any problem with using reference, whether it be from life or using a photo. So that's always a nice, handy tool that I like to use when I don't know how to draw something or when I'm not sure exactly how something is constructed. Look at a photo, look at the real thing in real life, um, and sometimes you know the thing really well. Like I know my rats and still draw them all sorts of wonky. So that is okay as well. And we'll take another minute or so for this panel. All right, so go ahead and wrap up that drawing. Um, we're going to move on to panel 5 here, the long horizontal panel. We're going to spend a little bit more time on this one. So for this panel 5, we'll draw something in the world outside your home, outside your place of residence, that brings you comfort or hope. This could be, one of so many things: birds flying through the sky, trees and flowers, the view from your window, people eating street food. It could be absolutely anything. So really let this be, again, specific to your experience and specific to what you feel you want to see more in the world, or that you wish you could see right now, if you're in quarantine. So whatever sort of outside imagery makes you happy and makes you comfortable. I'm going to draw some bees and flowers because that's what I like. And I'm gonna spend more of the focus on sort of the bees, bees fluttering around, and the details of the flowers as well. Let's spend about 5 minutes drawing this panel. Sorry about that. Here I started with the flowers and populated in the area with some of the bees. Sort of moving in the left and middle areas. Now I'm kind of filling in the between spaces with quick gestural leaves, mostly just kind of squiggles. And then I'm going to let it be more open on the other edge. To give both a sense of the flowers and, you know, the rest of the world up here. Maybe I'll put in a little fence. A nice thing about drawing is that you don't have to have the image perfectly planned out in your head when you start, especially if it's just for you, if it's just sort of a process and an experience rather than a finished product. You can just kind of start and figure it out as you go. Let's take another minute or so to finish up our drawings here. I'm going to go ahead and add in some clouds back here. It's a nice open sky. All right, go ahead and start to wrap up your drawing. Let's go for another 20, 30 seconds. All right, so for the space that we've left at the bottom of the page, below the last panel here, I want you to take a minute or two and write down a small wish for the future. That can be anything. Totally up to you. I'm going to write that I wish to cook more in the future. That should be an easy one to grant. All right, so once you've written that, you are done with this comic page. Congratulations. And now, with that, we have reached the sharing portion of this workshop. So if anyone would like to share what you've been working on, please go ahead and raise your hand. You can do it the analog way or by pressing the button on Zoom. A member of the Believer team will spotlight and unmute you so that you can share with all of us what you've been working on.
Hello.
Hi, would you please introduce yourself and let us know where you are working from?
Hi, my name is Susan and I'm here from Oakland, California.
Yay, oh my gosh. Excellent. Would you
All right.
mind walking us through what you've gone ahead and drawn here?
Yeah. So, oopsie, there we go. Woo.
Perfect,
Okay,
perfect.
so at the top here is my little owl mug filled with pens.
Oh my gosh.
And it brings me comfort to do art. And then here is half of an antique Japanese gong that's hanging on the wall that comes from my childhood home, and which my parents used to use to call us in for dinner. The thing that I made is my daughter, who's in the middle, and she's sitting across the table from me. And she's one of the things that I'm most proud of making. And the living thing is a fig that just popped out. It's an enormous fig that is growing on a plant on the porch. And then the thing outside the house is a bookstore, and that's my husband looking at a book. And I really miss going into bookstores a lot. And I wish that we could stop distancing.
I share your wish, Susan. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing.
This was really fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Ren, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And so I worked on, the first panel is a tissue box because I cry a lot. And my girlfriend has allergies, so we use the tissue box equally. And then I guess panel 1 is some curtains that we just got and hung up. We just moved in together this summer, and so we put up these like yellow velvet curtains, and they're very meaningful to me. Panel 2, the thing that I made is this pot that I painted. I do comics and stuff as well, so like having a thing that I can make that I don't monetize was really significant to me. So panel 3, the living thing, is the American bush tits. They hang out in my backyard and I really love them. They're really small and round. And then the thing that I like is going to conventions and tabling and seeing my friends. And my wish is to create things that are meaningful to me.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ren. What a beautiful comic.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. Would you mind introducing yourself and letting us know where you're calling from?
My name is Victoria. I'm calling from South Carolina. Here's the thing that I made.
All right. Would you mind walking us through that?
Okay, so this is a stuffed animal that I've had since childhood. The second panel is a bookshelf that I have filled with books that I love. It's actually sitting right across from me. The thing that I made is a drawing. It's a project for my advanced drawing class, but still I had a lot of fun making it. The living thing is the grass outside in the backyard of my home, and some weeds there that I'm familiar with. I don't know the name, but I've seen them for most of my life. This right here is the park near me. It's called the Sesquicentennial State Park, and the thing that I wrote is, I wish to have one of my projects completed in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing, Victoria.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm coming from New York. This is what I drew. I drew a new camera I got because even though I'm staying at home a lot, there's still a lot of memories that I should capture. I drew my breakfast, which is my favorite mug, and my egg. I made clay pins over quarantine. I never really did anything like 3D ceramic like, even though it's just like regular baking clay. But yeah, I made these little pins. There's two birds that always sleep outside my window on my AC. I drew them kind of derpy, but I think they're derpy in real life too, so that's okay. And then I miss like long walks in parks. And then my wish was I wish to keep finding small happy moments.
Oh my gosh, Ashley, thank you so much for sharing. Two birds sleeping outside your window. Oh my gosh, lovely. Thank you so much.
Oh, I didn't realize Wait, it's me next?
That's right. Hello.
Sorry, I literally never use Zoom. Hi, I'm Serena. I'm from London, UK, so it's like 1 a.m. here or something. So I'm gonna go sleep soon. But I drew basically, oh, I don't even know how to. So I was stuck, so I drew my hand drawing. And this is a teacup and tea from my family friend's house, Daya. They're like, and they always give me tea, and it's just really nice. That sounds really British, but it's actually like Kurdish tea. But, and then something I'm proud of, like making, I guess, is my art. So I drew that. And then there's a neighborhood cat. I'm at university at the moment, so I'm not at home, and I miss the cat, but it makes me happy. It's not my cat, it's the neighbor's cat, but I always do that. And then these are the trees and the bird that is outside my dorm window.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope that you are able to get some rest.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hello. Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know where you're calling from?
Hi, I'm Naomi and I'm in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you so much for this. I really enjoyed it. So this is on tap is corn, maize for the changing of the season, corn husks and everything. And then here's me drawing and a cup of tea or coffee, a window, my books. And here's things I made. I crochet and I make dolls. My plants, I take care of them. And you said maybe an animal that we care about. I thought about my dog. He passed away. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. in March. And this is fall.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Naomi, and for drawing such beautiful, lovely scenes.
Hello. My name's Audrey, and I'm Zooming from Corvallis, Oregon. Here's what I worked on. So for my atmospheric element, I had some incense because, I don't know, I really love smells. I don't know, I really love my Nag Champa incense. And then over here, I put my tarot card, my favorite tarot card, which is the Six of Wands. And anybody who also has the Wild Unknown deck, you might recognize it. I don't know. For the thing that I made, I'm in graduate school right now in an MFA program, and I had this really great opportunity to take a book arts class, and I made a sculptural book. And I got this like bust thing that I like paper mached and then put text all over it. I wrapped it around like in fabric, and I was really proud of it. So I drew that here. Over here is my fish, my beta fish, Joan Diddyfin, who is great and very comforting. And I did some sunflowers here. I want to draw more of them, but I didn't have time. And then at the bottom, I said, I wish to write a thesis I'm proud of. So let's hope I can do that. Thank you.
With that, Audrey, and thank you for sharing.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Harvey. Oh, am I unmuted now? Great. Hi.
Yes.
I'm Harvey. Oh geez, I wasn't prepared for this.
Take your time. Where are you calling from?
My thing that I drew was the first bit. I decided. Oh right, I'm from Rhode Island, by the way. Oh geez.
No worries.
So the first thing I drew was like myself playing my guitar. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
His name is Oscar. He's great. So for this panel, I looked over at my altar. I'm pagan, so I drew some of the candles and stuff that are there because it's like very comforting to have those like lit up and just nice. That thing right there is something I made. It's my Fae offering space. It's got like fake flowers in it and like glittery paper, and I just thought it was really cool. Like I tore apart a pillow to get the stuffing that makes it all nice. So
Nice.
this right here, I don't have like a pet or anything, but a living thing that brings me a lot of comfort is hawks because they're a symbol for me. So I drew my little hawk feather that I found the other day. I'm really excited to have it. And down here, I drew the mountains in New Hampshire, which is where my uncle lives, and it's like the best place in the world. And I haven't been able to go back there for a long time, so I decided to draw that, and I wish for simpler times.
I understand, Harvey. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leah. I use they, them pronouns. I'm in Arizona. For mine, I've had to think a lot about reading. So I do like what I think maybe like me reading from my childhood. I drew a candle I got from Bath and Body Works because I really like the smell. For my middle panel, I recently made cinnamon rolls, so I drew one of my original characters, kind of like picking one up. I drew a hedgehog because they're my favorite animals, and I drew my college campus for a place that I find comforting because I just kind of miss being there right now.
Absolutely, Leah. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Hi, I'm Nita. I'm in California. And here's my thing. I kind of went crazy in my establishing shots, so I drew plants and books and some tea in a glass pot. That all bring me comfort, and I kind of had little left everywhere else, but I tried my best. So over here I have like a close-up of, I didn't do it justice, but like an embroidery piece in my house that we've used every time we move, and we've moved a lot, and it has like embroidery on it and beads on it. And then the second one, something that I made, was a piece of art. It was like an illustration of a woman on fire. It was really exciting, very fantasy, very fun, and she was a giant, so that was really exciting. I was so proud of myself. And then over here, something living. I was going to draw my cat, but she's all the way in Texas, so I drew a plant, and because I had reference, but it's a nice succulent. I drew it really light. And then something I wish to see more of, and especially since I'm in California, I can't see right now, are like the hills and the greenery and the luscious fields. One day when the smoke clears, it'll be visible, but until then, I have this nice drawing. And something I wish to do, I wish to be the storyteller I envision myself to be. This was a hard one to come up with, but I want to be a story person, a storyteller. Thank you.
That is a beautiful wish, Nita. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm so happy to see so many pieces in color.
Thanks.
We can take 3 more tonight. So hello. Matilda, I think you're muted.
Oh, hi. So I'm Matilda from Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm French, going back to Europe end of November. It's going to be a bit more difficult to follow all these beautiful workshops. Thank you so much for organizing them. And so first is my cup of coffee I love, and I hope you can see it. And then the first thing give me joy is my little brush from Montana from this summer. Things I like to do is baking bread, and the living thing is my husband with his nice hat. And the place where I like to go is my community garden, where I have a slot, and it gave me lots of joy. And things I'd like to do in the future is go back to teaching, because I'm a teacher and I miss my students.
I understand, Matilda. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Tenley. I'm in Emeryville, California, which is right next to Oakland. And I drew for my establishing. I drew, can you see that?
Yep. Great.
My yoga props. In the pandemic, I've been doing a lot of yoga on Zoom, and so these are my props. I wish I'd given them more space. I don't like how much white there is, but whatever. My special Russ and Daughters mug that my son sent me for my birthday. That's here. And I have my morning view out my window, and there's my laptop. The thing I made is my knit sheep, Dolores, whom I made from a kit from a yarn store in Massachusetts. And she is just awesome and has many outfits. The live creature is my dog, who likes to sit, he's long and sits in my lap while I read. And then outside of my place is a terrace with a lot of my plants, and lots of hummingbirds come. And there's a big palm tree that you can see down on the street. And then I sit there and draw, and those are my feet. And the thing I wish most for is to be able to go to New York and see my son and my family members who are there. Normally I would be going back there quite a bit, and I haven't been able to go, and it's been really hard. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Tenley. And it's funny that you mentioned Dolores the sheep, because I know exactly which yarn story you're talking about.
Have you made Dolores?
Not yet.
Oh, she's super fun. I recommend it.
I will do that. Thank you, Tenley.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Hi. I'm Leah. I'm from New York. I live in the Lower East Side near Chinatown, which is relevant to some stuff I made. So top panel was some plants and roots. And then I have my pencil and some rocks and some melted candle wax. And then some kimchi, some made up dogs on the street. I don't have dogs, but they bring me joy. And then this is a little street scene because I love going out and adventuring in the streets. And then that made me wish may we breathe easier on the streets someday.
Absolutely. I share the same wish, Leah. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's see. I think we can take one more person on the sharing side here. Hello.
Me?
Yes, hello.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
No worries.
All
Who
right,
are
so
you and
I
where-
decided to dedicate, oh, sorry.
Who are you and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Ray. I'm from Conway, Arkansas. What else? Sorry.
No worries. Go ahead and share your work with us.
I decided to dedicate it to my best friend because her birthday was a couple days ago. So it's very themed besides what you were telling us. And I'm gonna have to get rid of my background. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
No, how do I do that? None. There we go. Okay. So this right here is a malachite necklace that I bought for her. It's very cute.
Oh, hello.
And then here is a potted plant that I absolutely adore that I've been stressing out because it's my first succulent, but it's going pretty well. This middle piece is what my background was. It was my first painting on an iPad, and I'm deeply in love with it. It brings me a lot of comfort, even though it looks really dark. And this is my sibling's cat, Zorro. He's a very sweet cat. I miss him a lot. He's not gone. He's just in a very far away state. And then this is a sunset that I really like, and I wish there were more like them. And at the bottom, I just wish my best friend a happy birthday.
Shout out to your friend Cassie. Thank you so much for sharing, Ray. All right, so thank you everyone for sharing your work and for coming to this workshop today. I'm so excited to see so many beautiful comics by all of you today. If you didn't get a chance to share your work, please post it on social media. I would love to see it. And so would the folks at Believer. Would you please, if you share your work, tag me at, oops, I'm so sorry. That's my cat's food robot. Please tag me at Ashanti Fortson on Twitter or Instagram, and please tag at Believer Mag on Twitter and Instagram as well if you share your work. And that just about does it for today's workshop. Thank you again so much, all of you, for coming.
Thank you, Ashanti. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was so wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, everyone. Thank you so much.